Alexander Isak may be about to reveal all about the Liverpool transfer saga in a popcorn interview. Despite Harvey Elliott's twist, Liverpool will sell the £40 million star to Jurgen Klopp under one condition. Attention, Crystal Palace preparing to sell Mark Guehi on Friday. Hello, Liverpool fan. Let's dive into the latest news from the greatest club in the world. Alexander Isak may soon share his side of the story regarding his refusal to play for Newcastle United and his attempt to force a move to Liverpool. The Swedish striker wants to join the Anfield club and hopes the deal will be finalized before the transfer window closes. Last week, the 25-year-old released a statement claiming that Newcastle broke promises made to him. Quote, "I stayed silent for a long time while others spoke. That silence allowed people to create their own versions of the story, even though they don't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is, promises were made, and the club has known my position for a long time. Acting now as if these issues are only just arising is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's how I see things now, and that's why I believe a move is in everyone's best interest, not just mine." End quote. This has been Isak's only public statement so far, but he may speak out again soon. Called up for Sweden's World Cup qualifiers against Slovenia and Kosovo, he has been asked by the Swedish Football Association to attend media duties, which could lead to impactful comments. Sources in Sweden claim Isak has complied with all of the federation's requests and now expect it to fulfill its promise to give the player media exposure. Sweden coach Jon Dahl Tomasson also addressed the situation. Quote, "No one knows the full picture. Alex is very professional, has a strong character, and has worked hard. He's a game changer. I've spoken to him several times, and mentally he's strong. What we talked about remains between us. Can he play 90 minutes? Of course not. But I'm very happy he wants to be part of the squad. He's an incredible player." End quote. Tomasson also acknowledged that Isak's situation isn't ideal since he hasn't been training with his club, but reinforced that the striker wants to be involved and that the World Cup is important to him. Meanwhile, Liverpool is working to finalize the signings of Alexander Isak from Newcastle and Mark Guehi from Crystal Palace before the transfer deadline on Monday. According to journalist Florian Plettenberg of Sky Sports, the Reds have already agreed on personal terms with both players. The main hurdle now is for Newcastle and Palace to find adequate replacements before allowing the deals to proceed. With just 4 days left in the transfer window, Liverpool is still pushing to complete the signings of Isak and Guehi. If confirmed, both would significantly strengthen Arne Slot's squad. Guehi would bolster the defense, while Isak, with 62 goals in 109 games for Newcastle, would be a key figure in attack. Despite Newcastle's reluctance to sell, Liverpool remains confident and is in daily contact with Isak's representatives. A new offer, with adjusted bonuses, has already been submitted and may convince Newcastle to release the striker. Sky Sports journalist Keith Downey also commented on the situation. According to him, there's still a big question mark over the player's future. Quote, "The information I have is that Monday's meeting didn't go well. There certainly wasn't a positive outcome." End quote. Next week will be crucial in determining whether Alexander Isak will finally wear the Liverpool shirt. Liverpool considers keeping Harvey Elliott in the squad even if a club meets his asking price before the transfer window closes on Monday. After impressing in the U21 European Championship this summer, the club set a £40 million price tag for the midfielder. Several clubs have shown interest in Elliott. Fulham, his former team, as well as West Ham, Crystal Palace, and Tottenham have considered signing him, though no formal offers have been made. RB Leipzig has been the most persistent, with Jurgen Klopp reportedly pushing for a reunion. However, the Bundesliga club is waiting for Xavi Simons to complete his move to Chelsea before advancing. Tottenham also remains alert. Despite external interest, Liverpool still sees Elliott as a valuable squad member. In Monday's win over Newcastle, the 22-year-old came off the bench and played a role in the winning goal scored by Rio Ngumaha. His performance reinforced the idea that he could still play an important role under Arne Slot. According to TBR Football's chief correspondent, Graham Bailey, Liverpool is prepared to keep Elliott beyond the transfer deadline. even while acknowledging the player's concerns about limited playing time, especially with the 2026 World Cup approaching. Bailey notes that the club highly values Elliott, and there are voices internally who believe he should not be sold this summer. Still, the player wants more minutes and could seek a move to a club where he would be a guaranteed starter. Last season, Elliott made 18 Premier League appearances, mostly off the bench, despite being a regular figure during Jurgen Klopp's final year at the club. Liverpool currently values Elliott at around £50 million, but may consider lower offers from clubs like RB Leipzig, provided a buyback clause is included in the deal. The Reg have used similar agreements in past transfers, such as Jarell Quansah to Bayer Leverkusen and Ben Doak to Crystal Palace. Following a major squad overhaul after winning the 2024-25 Premier League title, new manager Arne Slot has taken a firm stance on squad decisions. However, the club under the leadership of Richard Hughes has acted wisely in the market, recognizing that players not yet ready for Liverpool's level could still become valuable assets in the future. If Elliott decides to leave Anfield this summer, the club will likely approve the transfer, on the condition that a buyback clause is included, keeping the door open for a future return. Liverpool could sign centre-back Mark Guehi immediately after the second leg of the UEFA Europa Conference League playoffs between Crystal Palace and Fredrikstad of Norway, scheduled for Thursday night. The London club acknowledges it needs to sell the defender now to avoid losing him for free next summer, but wants to count on his presence on the pitch before finalizing any deal. This information comes as the summer transfer window enters its final days, with the deadline set for Monday night. Liverpool remains under pressure to complete at least 2 more signings before the window closes. If everything goes according to plan, one of them will be the 25-year-old Crystal Palace and England international defender Mark Guehi, and the other will be Newcastle striker Alexander Isak. Liverpool and Crystal Palace hit a stalemate earlier this summer. The Reds were willing to pay up to £35 million for Guehi, while Palace held firm at £45 million. With the Conference League playoffs approaching and negotiations stalled, the London club made it clear they would not let Guehi leave until their European spot was secured. Quote, "We have to do it, especially for the second leg," said Palace manager Oliver Glasner last week when asked whether Guehi would remain with the squad until the decisive match against Fredrikstad. "No injured player will return, and we can't register anyone, so we have to keep him," end quote. Even if a signing had been made last week, the new player wouldn't have been eligible in time to play. Palace, meanwhile, continues to search for a replacement for Guehi, with the most frequently mentioned name being Manchester City's Manuel Akanji. The expectation is that negotiations will move quickly once Thursday's match is over. Thank you so much for watching until the end. See you next time!